Hello, my friend. I'm Akhilesh Prasad. Today, I'll discuss about logistic regression. Logistic regression is a classifier. The name is regression, but it is classifier. This is just a use of the sigmoid function. Okay, so the sigmoid function is 1/1 plus e to the power minus theta transpose x, where theta is the coefficient, or if we have just one or two constant over here, we can we can write something like this: 1 upon sorry 1 upon 1 plus e to the power minus uh, theta is not plus theta 1 x1. Okay, so we have just one independent variable and two coefficient theta naught and theta 1. Then the sigmoid function is like this, or in general term this one. So let's let's assume that h theta x is a hypothetical function which is given by h theta x is given by this 1 upon 1 plus e to the power minus theta transpose x, or here we have written like a g theta transpose x in some other fashion, when you can assume theta transpose x is equal to z. So you can also write in this fashion: dzz is equal to 1 plus 1 minus e to the power z. Okay, but the z is equal to theta transpose x. So in 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 the machine learning, when we have more than one independent variables, so it is better to have in the matrix format, because we will dealing with the number of feature variable, not just one feature variables. So theta, where all the theta naught, theta 1 and theta j, all the coefficient in the vector form, column vector, and x is also in the vector. When we have theta transpose, it becomes a row vector. So this is the interpretation of the theta transpose x in the matrix format. Okay. Furthermore, here the interpretation: x is the feature variable and theta is the respective weight assigned to them. As the theta naught is the it is called the intercept. Theta naught is the intercept. Theta naught is the intercept. In that case, the x naught is 1 and rest are feature variable x1 to xj. And I can write in this fashion actually. Okay, where n is the number of feature variables, not including, it is excluding x naught. Okay, as we have already said, you can define one more variable. Actually, we will need in such fashion for the derivation. So let's have a g function. G is the logistic or regress or sigmoid function. So this function is called sigmoid function or logistic function, and is given by gz is equal to 1 plus, sorry, gz is equal to 1 upon 1 plus e to power minus z. And as the domain of z is this function is defined for minus infinity to plus infinity, all the value. In that case, when x is infinity, when x is, sorry, the z is infinity, something like this, 1 upon 1 minus e to power minus z. So when x is infinity, when infinity, then this power of minus infinity, which goes to 0, and 1 upon 1 is become approaches to 1, and in that case it is 0. So when z goes from minus infinity to plus infinity, and the sigmoid function goes to 0 to 1, and the function look the function looks like this. Okay, here is the x or fx, sorry, x, and this is the fx. Okay, or maybe z when we have z or f of z. You can see that this is when the value of x much lower or much higher, the sigmoid function is become parallel to the x-axis. Otherwise, and this is 0 0.5. Okay, so this value is ranged from 0 to 1. So this is the reason that this is used in the classification problem, because we need the probability, and this is already in the form of 0 to 1. So you can classify when the predicted probability is less than 0 0.5. So you can split the negative class. When we have greater than zero point 0.5, can have the positive class, something like this. Okay, okay. So I love doing derivation. Wherever I found, I try to derive all the formula whichever comes to me. So let's try to dig something more into logistic function. Okay, so we have already seen gz, and z is equal to theta transpose x. Let's do differentiate with respect to z. Okay, when we differentiate, what we are going to differentiate, differentiate the sigmoid function 1 upon 1 plus e to power minus z, or you can write to the power minus 1. When you differentiate it, will be like this, because when we have power 1, when you differentiate this one, a simple differentiation, we have minus 1 into this to the power minus 2, 1 plus e to the power minus z, this to the power minus 2, and then the differentiation inside the bracket is e to the power minus z. When you differentiate it, e to the power minus z into, then the differentiation of minus z become minus 1, and that is altogether written over here. Okay, so let's simplify it further. When it is power 2, then you can write in this fashion. That's that to separate out, and you can write in you can simplify in this fashion because we need it. Something like here you can 1 plus or minus, plus 1 and minus 1, then you will get this fashion. And here we have already known this is the logistic function, and here this is also the logistic function, so you can write in this fashion. So that derivation of the logistic function is itself in that particular form, gz into 1 minus gz. This is the first derivative of the logistic function. Okay. Okay, let's proceed. We did it because we will need in the subsequent slides. Okay, now let's assume further that the probability when y is equal to 1 for given feature variable and the given weight, okay, the h theta x, and I mean this is the f- first part of this one. When you have this logistic function, just assume 1 for this part. I mean one of the part, the other part is this one. Then the probability of y is equal to 1, this is my assumption, because when we have h theta is this fashion, when the y is equal to 1 for given x and theta, and this is what we are assuming, h theta x. Okay, the other one becomes when the probability of y is equal to 0 is 1 minus h theta x. Okay, it just define two function over here. The one is the h theta, one another one is 1 minus h theta. One for the probability 1, other for probability for y is equal to 0 and for y is equal to 1. Okay, this is very important. And another, let's combine these two. When we combine these two, we can write in this fashion in general form. Here we have just y is equal to 1 and then y is equal to 0. You can take the any, suppose we take the any value, then we can write in this fashion h theta, and this to the power y, and then 1 minus h theta to the power 1 minus y. Okay. Hmm. Now we define the likelihood function. The likelihood function is the all the product of this probability. That's why we need it to, when we have all the instances of the one probability to multiply all the probability. So this is the likelihood function. The likelihood function, the probability of y for given x and theta, the semicolon is to separate out the category of the variable, because x is the future value and theta is the constant. When this is what we, we have to find out is the constant, but we need to determine it becomes variable in the loss function. Okay, so when we multiply it, so this is all the multiplication of all the probability, and where is the I is the all the training instances. Okay, this is the same thing over here. Here the superscript, which is the I, indicates the element in the training sample, and the subscript is the theta, which we are already seen is the feature variable. Oh, sorry, theta is not the feature variable, the constant, the coefficient of the feature variable indicates the number of feature variable now. Okay, let's proceed. Now let's define the log likelihood function. We have already seen the likelihood function. Now we'll take the log of the likelihood function. Okay, the likelihood divided by capital L and the log likelihood by a small l. The log of this all this product, when we take the log of all this product, then become the summation, the sum of all those variables. the I mean this becomes sum of all this variable, because when you take the log, we have log of two product a and b, and that is equal to log a plus log b. You can expand it in this fashion, so same thing is become over here, what we are expanding it. This is the log likelihood. What we do, we maximize the log likelihood. So we have to maximize this log likelihood function and find out the theta, all the coefficient, but this is what we need it. So we will maximize this this function, log likelihood function, and we'll find it. Means we need to find all the coefficient theta in such a way to maximize this log likelihood. Okay, now differentiate with respect to theta day. So we will differentiate this likelihood, log likelihood function will differentiate with respect to theta. Theta means all the theta, and combine with the previous derivation. Okay, with just we already seen this one, and with this one, um the z is equal to theta transpose x when you differentiate with respect to theta z, where z this is equal to 1 to n. Okay, um so let's differentiate this one. When we differentiate it, okay, so this is the log, the by this y is constant, and we are differentiating with respect to theta. So the log, the differentiation of log x, when you have log x, is become 1 upon x. So let's differentiate it by into 1 upon y into, sorry, y into 1 upon h theta x, plus 1 minus y is constant. Okay, and this differentiation 1 upon this, and in the both the cases we have h theta, we have also over here the h theta, and here is the minus. Okay, so we have to also differentiate this one, differentiate h theta. We come out here and take it outside and differentiate this h theta. There is a minus sign, so that's why there is a minus sign here. Okay, and differentiate with respect to theta, this one as well. So differentiate h theta with respect to theta. So finally we have this expression. Okay, so here we'll put sorry, we'll put some of the variables which we have already derived. Okay, so when we simplify this bracket, it would be this one. Okay, and here we have h theta upon the del h theta upon del theta. So let's multiply both side by del z. Okay, and just we have copy same thing, and here del h upon del z we already derived this one, so we can put it here, h theta upon 1 minus h theta, and del z upon del is this one, so this is x, sorry, this is xj, So finally, after simplification, we have by minus h theta x j. So this is the first derivative of this one, of the likelihood function. Okay, and why we are doing this, let's see. Please know that we are maximizing the likelihood function. So for the likelihood function, we have to maximize. For the loss or cost function, we have to minimize it. So here we have to maximize it. So the weight theta there is updated using gradient, using a stochastic gradient rule as below. So this is a stochastic gradient rule. Theta j, this is the new, this is the old, plus alpha into derivation of this likelihood, and colon equal to, this is just the assignment operator. Okay, so we'll put those thing over here, this one. Okay, and just take it out, the minus outside, then become h theta minus by, and the I is all the training instances. So on the, for the one by one training, we have to, for the each training instance, we have to perform this and update the theta. Okay, and the alpha is the learning rate. So we have to put, we have to adjust alpha accordingly, otherwise it will jump here and there. Okay, so the same thing we can also do using loss or cost function. So when we define in terms of loss or cost function, we have to minimize this, because we have to minimize the loss. So let's have this minimize the cost function or the loss, average loss. Okay, average loss over the training instances, and define the loss function as we have already seen before. Then y is equal to 0, then this one, and y is equal to, sorry, y is equal to 1, then this, and then y is equal to 0, then just you have to put log 1 minus the important thing from the difference from the previous one is the minus sign. So when you have minus sign, you have to minimize it. Okay, and similarly we can combine the all the loss, yeah, combine all the loss, sum all the loss, and the take derivative with respect to theta, and finally we will have this. So either you use the log likelihood maximization or minimization of the loss functions, the result would be the same. Note, minimizing the loss function or maximizing the cost function, the ultimate result is the same. Okay, there is another method. One, you have already seen the stochastic gradient method. The other one is the Newton method. So from the Newton method, you also update the weight. You can also update the weight, and this is the standard method that they can update like this: the new theta is equal to old theta minus f of theta upon f prime theta, the first derivative. Okay, the numerator is the function and the denominator is the derivative of that function. So here what we are minimizing the likelihood, sorry, what we are optimizing is the log likelihood, or maybe the cost function, whichever you want. So to have that, suppose if we are optimizing this or this, its first derivative should be the 0. Yes, hence we need to find the solution of the first derivative. Yeah, so f of x is equal to this one. So this is the way, this is one of the method to find the solution of certain expression. Okay, but the function should be differentiable. That's this, then only you can find the first derivative. Okay, so the f of x here would be the first derivative of the log likelihood, and the second derivative would be this, because we are either minimizing or maximizing. In either case, the first derivative of the likelihood should be 0, as we studied in the calculus. So that Newton method, this become this one. So the theta, new theta is equal to old theta minus first derivative of the log likelihood upon second derivative of the log likelihood. Okay, here the learning rate theta is not required. Okay, so as same as the linear regression, here also we have the regularization, L1 and L2 regularization. The L1 regularization, where we add the absolute value of the coefficient multiplied by another constant. In the case of L2 regularization, here we have, this is called the L2 regularization. Here we have to here we have to add the square sum of a square of the coefficient multiplied by some other constant. Is the difference, and this is called the lasso, and this is called the Riz regression. So we have to just modify the loss function for L1 and L2, and we will combine both in general form. Then there is called elastic net. Okay, so and furthermore, how we are going to evaluate the performance of the classification model, because logistic regression is the classification model, but at the end we have to evaluate the performance of the model. So the first important is the classic confusion matrix. The confusion matrix is, this is the actual class, sorry, this is the actual class 0 1. 0 is the negative class, 1 is the positive class, and this is the predicted class. Tn is the true negative. I mean, the out of this total, this one, this much Tn is the classified correctly, and in negative return are classified correctly. Similarly, the true positive, and this is false negative, and this is called false positive. This is actually positive negative, but it is classified at positive. It's called false positive. Okay, the description. And here you have further description that we have already talked about. Okay, so there are some other important matrix that we need to know or compute to judge the judge the performance of the model. First one is the accuracy score. Accuracy score is the sum of all the true positive, true negative, and sum of all that whether all that instances. Here we have just true positive, true negative, and divided by all true positive, false negative, and true negative. Other one is the precision score. It is a measure of accuracy of predicting positive class and is computed as the ratio of the number of true positive to the total number of true positive and false positive. Okay, this is the precision formula. Other one is the recall score, and the recall is equal to true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. It is also called the sensitivity, all the or the true positive rate. There is another matrix is the specificity. Uh, the recall of positive class is called the sensitivity. Sensitivity. The recall of positive class is called the sensitivity, and the recall of negative class is called the specificity. Is this one? Okay. This is also called the true negative rate. This is very important. True positive rate and true negative rate is very important. Generally, for imbalance classification means the both the classes is not balanced. One classes might have 100 instance, another might have 20, or maybe 500, or maybe 50, something like this. So this is imbalanced. When we have 500 and other one is 450, this is not imbalanced. This is somewhat balanced or somewhat imbalanced. So when for imbalance classification, sensitivity could be more interesting than a specificity. So we need to, in that case, we need to focus more on the sensitivity, true positive rate than the true negative rate. Okay. Third one is the balanced accuracy score. Some more matrix. Balanced accuracy score. It is defined as the average of true positive rate and true negative rate. Okay. And then is the Z mean. Calculate the geometric mean of the true positive rate and true negative rate. Important. All this formula is for two class. The binary classification, when we have more than two class, then there is a little bit changes in this formula, or a square root of a specificity or sensitivity. There is another measure is the G measure, is the geometric mean of precision and recall. So similarly, we have lots of the other important is the F1 measure. F1 measure. F1 measure is the harmonic mean of the precision and recall. Okay. Okay. And sorry. And the other one is the ROC. ROC. Receiver operating characteristics curve. It is a graph showing the performance of a classification model at various threshold settings. ROC is the probability curve, and ROC is the probability curve, and the AUC is the area under that curve, represent the degree or measure of separability. Separability means we are talking about the class, the negative class and the positive class. It tells how much model is capable of distinguishing between classes. Higher the AUC, better the model is at predicting 0 as 0's level and 1 as 1 levels. In other words, the higher the AUC, better the model in distinguishing between positive class and negative class. ROC curve is plotted plotted with to- true positive rate against false positive rate. True positive rate on y axis and false positive rate is on x axis. This is true positive rate is this one. True positive rate is true positive upon true positive plus false negative, and false positive rate is equal to false positive upon false positive plus true negative. There is another measure is the precision recall curve. It is a plot. It is a plot. It is a plot of precision on x-axis and recall on, sorry, precision on y-axis and recall on x-axis for different thresholds. And no a skill classifier represents the one that cannot distinguish between the classes and would prefer random classes. The ROC curve is preferred for highly imbalanced observation across the classes, while the precision recall curve is used for moderate to large class imbalance. There, there are other metrics as well, such as kappa, Cohen kappa, and other one is the MCC. All that already implemented, or you can write your own custom matrix for evaluation. That is all that is required when you are hyper tuning the model. We are trying to find the hyperparameter of the model that you need to configure all that. So this is the background behind the classifier and the logistic regression. Next, I will show you how to implement this logistic regression in Python using scikit-learn module. Okay. Okay. So this is my screen, and this is uh, the logistic regression. So first you need to import the relevant model. NP is for NumPy, Pandas, Byfinance, where one can download the stock data, and this is for plotting. Scikit-learn is the logistic regression. And if in machine learning or deep learning, generally you need to scale the data, then you need a standard scaler or the min-max scaler or maybe some other scaling function. The pipeline, you can encapsulate all the transformation on the module on in the regression model. Then the matrix, all the matrix you can import, and here is the model selection is the grid search CV, grid search cross validation, and then time series are split, because we are dealing with the financial time series. So while cross validation, and to hyper tune the model, we need to do the time series cross validation. Okay, so let's import the data starting from 2010 to 2020, 09 this, or maybe have 2101 01. Okay, and here is the Yahoo Finance module. Just have to download the use download functions. NSEI is the index in the Nifty 50 in India, is the National Stock Exchange of India. This is the stocks, where the Nifty 50 is the index of the top 50 stocks. A start date, in date, interval is the daily. Progress is fall. We don't need to monitor it. And the auto adjust. Auto adjust is the adjust all the prices. Otherwise, you will get a separate adjusted closing price. Okay, let's run it from here. It takes little bit time on mode on importing the module. That waits for maybe half minute. uh, hmm, okay, so it will come very soon. Yeah, it's now has come. Now run this. What is this? It not does not match the format. This what I did it 01. Sorry. Okay. So this is fetching all the data, and it should come very soon. It's taking some time. hmm And hmm, why it is taking time? Um, Kernel, let's have interrupt kernel. Okay, and then again run it. Should not take that much time. Yeah, it has come now. So just be check it whether NA exists or not. So none of the column has NA, and this is all the data we get it. Okay, and what we are going to do just remove all that. Just we need the closing value, and we'll calculate the return and the future variable of the past 10 days return. So just we calculate the return, the log return. Okay, and then we'll prepare the feature variable is the log return for the last 10 days. So here is the return, the lag. Here is the return, lag return. I'm calling the lag by 1 to 10 days. Okay, and then preparing the the column name as well. Sorry. Yeah, so by doing this, we just prepare the 10 feature variables which has log return. 10 feature variable, the log return, the last 10 days log return. Okay, just we take the arbitrarily and see and understood this module is not for the trading, is just for the learning and training purpose, not for trading. Okay, so just run this, and here we drop all that price variable and volume and return everything because we already calculated it. And the target variable by when the return is greater than 0, 1, otherwise 0. This is our target variable. When we run it, yeah, so 1 and 0, these two are the level, and this is the count of that level. Okay, and this is the feature variable we are going to take. One means 1 day lag, yesterday, day before yesterday, and so on. And here you can see the data, all the return. This is all the feature variable here to here, and this is the target variable. Okay, and here we have feature variable, and in terms of we have calculated from data frame to the array x and y. Okay, and then instead of using the train test split function, just use this way to find out the index. That 10% of the data is for testing and the 90% is for training. So similarly, we find the train test, and we, for the safer side, we convert into NP array. Let's run it. So this is the data in the training instance, this is the testing instance, and 10 feature variable. Okay, now define the logistic regression. The solver here use the Saga because we have used the penalty elastic net. There are several, there are multiple option for each variables. You can see over here this way. So these are the hyperparameters that you need to set. Okay, penalty L1, L2 elastic net. So when I have chosen the penalty elastic net, elastic net is the combination of L1 and L2. When we select the penalty elastic net, the solver Saga is the only option. Okay, then the maximum iteration default is 100, and I have chosen 200. C is one of the coefficient. I think the alpha in my expression is the C is equal to 1 upon alpha. The detail of all the expression over here, inverse of regularization strength. Okay, that all the description also you can find accordingly. You can set the all the hyperparameter and the L1 L2 L1 ratio. I mean, how much you want to regularize L1 and how much L2. So the meaning of this you can find over here. Yeah, L2. This is useful for the elastic net, the elastic net mixing parameter. Okay, so we set all the parameters, and then one more is the standard scaler to scale the variables. Generally, we need it when you have in the different scale. Here we have just the return may not be required. So for the safer side, let's convert it and all encapsulate into the pipe. Okay, we create the pipe instance and then fit. Here you need to pass X train and Y train. So the X is the two-dimensional matrix. Here is just a vector. Y is just a vector. The fit, once you fit it, you need to predict it. Once you have predict, you can you can predict the performance. You can print the performance of the model using classification model or confusion matrix. Let's try it. Okay. So, and one more parameter here, the class weight. Class weight is to to is to giving more weightage to the particular class while optimizing the weight theta 1 theta 2 which I have said. So here balanced it means in that during the training instance, whatever here you can say 111 and 158 instance, in the training something more, so it will balance out. When we have more number, it will put penalty on this. It will give more focus on less numbers. So similarly you can run it and get the classification report and confusion matrix. So you have can precision for both the classes, recall for both the classes, and the harmonic mean for the both the classes. Okay, and this is the accuracy. And here is the micro average for this and weighted. You can use the function. You can also get it like a sample weighted and micro weighted. And here is printed only two weighted. You can get some other performance as well. You can import all the from scikit-learn matrix and print it. And here is the confusion matrix. So what it says, out of 111, 61 are classified correctly. Out of 158, 84 are classified correctly. Okay. So you can change the parameter, you can get some better value. Okay. So the thing is that how you can hyperparameter selecting that's putting 111 value is tedious. So for that we have a model selection, and here you can use the grid search cross validation. Here the estimator is the model is the logistic regression LR. The param grid all the parameter which you are passing. Okay, the param grid should be into the list format, should be in the list. A scoring which you are selecting model based on which a scoring model which you are optimizing. You can use accuracy, you can use ROC, AUC, area under the curve, precision, recall, MCC, or maybe the Cohen kappa or any other, which you depending upon your data and the model, you need to specify this. And then CB is the this one time series a split. Okay, so here grid we define in the grid. You can same way make pipe. There is the second variant of the pipeline. You can put one is a scalar, the grid, the define the pipe, and then pipe dot fit. When you fit it, you can from the result you can get the the fitted estimator from corresponding to grid search CV, get the grid result. You can print those value and predict by pred, and similarly you can do it. So here the important thing is that you have to put all that possible value and pass into the param grid, and let's run it and see. It will take some time depending upon the how much variable you have put it. See, this is something like this. So I have defined value of c ranging from 1 into 10 to the power minus 7 to 1 into 10 to the power 7, and 11 into ratio 0.1 to 1. So accordingly set up and get this confusion matrix, and this accordingly you can change it and get some optimal value. When you get the optimal value, you can specify over here. So this way you can implement the logistic regression in Python. uh, in addition to this, you can also print the plot the precision recall curve and the ROC curve that gives the how the model is performing. Okay, so thanks for watching, and comment and like on the bottom. Thanks for your support.